Hello, horror fan, best friends, and ghoulish knights, and welcome to the third episode of Murders with Mertens. I am your host, Joe, and this is a podcast about horror comedies, slashers, the horror adjacent, thrillers, the supernatural, the psychologically terrifying, scary films in general. Each episode, I intend to sit down with a guest and discuss one of their favorite scary films so we can gush about everything that makes it just so damned cool. Let's not waste any time in introducing my guest, Andy Mack. Andy, welcome.
Hello.
How the hell are
Very
you?
much. I'm good. Thanks for having me. I've been looking forward to this for ages.
Good. Yes. Well, we've certainly talked about it on Mark's Zoom calls for a while, and glad to finally get this going.
Me too. I'm
Yeah.
so glad you
Yeah.
added comedy in that intro because
Yeah. Well, I had mentioned, trying to switch up the spiel here and there, and it's part of what has caused me to stumble here and there. But maybe getting the subgenre of the topic in the opening spiel, might be a fun little thing to do. So, it's just all good, all in good time. Andy, who the hell are you?
who? I've had you back. I do streams and much, but I am much more of a comedy movie fan than horror, I'd say. But as I know, you're the horror expert,
Uh,
and obviously I picked a comedy horror because
yeah.
what else would I pick?
Well, hardly an expert, but yeah, man, I know you're not particularly fond of scary films, but folks always have something kind of horror adjacent that they love. So I'm not surprised that this is one that came to mind when I asked you to come on as a guest. So today's episode does revolve around 1988's Beetlejuice, written and directed by Tim Burton. Andy, what's your history with the film?
Obviously, this came out. I am young. This came out before I was born. Sorry to rub that in anyone's faces, but
Hate you.
I love you too. But I remember watching this when I was younger, and one of my weirdest memories is when I went to Florida when I was young. They did like a horror stage show, and Beetlejuice was one of them walking around, and it just brings a lot of happy memories of that. And obviously, the songs in this, or the two songs in this are just classics. There's the musical, more recent that's thing, and that's just it's just one of those things that it's not a film I watch often enough, but every time you watch it, you're like, that's a fucking good time. I used to watch this more.
Yeah, absolutely. I was kind of shocked that I didn't own a copy, so I did rectify that before putting this together because it deserves a spot on the shelf for sure. Um, so why don't we jump on in? We get just these odd little strains of Harry Belafonte with Deo Deo. Daylight come and me want to go
Yeah.
home. Then title card with Beetlejuice. You get the iconic Danny Elfman score as we get a cool tracking shot of the little town that slowly turns from real life into a scale model, ending on an old farmhouse in a hill. Also, the brass section in the score is just working overtime on this one. It's great.
It's
Uh,
it's it's one of those things that it's like I said, it's not a hardcore horror film, but it's definitely got that music of like this is your typical 80s horror movie intro of just like I said, the tracking shot, the music, you just think you're in for your typical horror film.
Oh yeah, it's great stuff. And I feel like this is music that's been used over and over in movie trailers and other shit throughout the years. But yeah, just a wonderful start for the film. And then we get this giant ass spider that crawls its way over the top of the house. And, Alec Baldwin just walks up and just very, very calmly, without even a Kleenex or a
Yeah,
tissue or anything, just picks it right
doesn't
up.
give a fuck. Just takes it.
Yep, just picks it up. He even pokes at it, which I found a little distressing. I'm not like terrified of spiders or anything, but I'm not going to poke it in the face.
Don't piss it off. What a
Yeah,
stupid
yeah,
move.
kill it with fire, right? Um, so he just tosses it out the window, which was kind of funny because, he's going through the hassle of trying to save the fucking thing, but
Three-story floor. It'll be fine.
I'm sure it'll be good. Maybe a bird will swing down and get a little snack as it falls. I don't know. Um, but then we get the introduction of Gina Davis here, his wife Barbara, Alec Baldwin is Adam, and these dorks are just madly in love. They're just
They're just
be.
the happy couple in the
Oh yeah,
massive house, and just I've got to also say, so fucking young. I forgot how young they all look in this movie. It's
they're
just like
impossibly young. Yes.
Alec Baldwin's hair is just perfect in this movie. Every time I'm looking, I'm like, I just want that. I just can't do that.
No, I don't have enough hair to do that any longer. No, and
Not on the
you know,
top, but
yeah. But then Barbara, well, she's got that typical '80s perm. That's all you got. Yeah, but here they are. They're starting their vacation together, and I I don't know about you, but I don't know that I've ever given anyone a vacation gift. But they have little presents for each other, and they're just things to use to spruce up the house because that's what they're going to spend their next 2 weeks doing. Which is,
yeah.
I
I feel
suppose
like
it's cute.
nowadays, if you got, if you had a woman or anything, you're like, here's some cleaning products for your vacation. You just get hit so hard in the gentleman region. Just
Yes.
brave. Had some brave balls on there.
Yeah, they're obviously on the same page. So yeah, I suppose that works. But then we get the introduction of Jane the realtor. And she is, yeah, she's kind of an asshole.
Being irritating.
Oh
So
yeah, it, it's not so much. I think that she's just there unannounced and really inserting herself in their lives. But she brings up that comment about them being childless, and obviously that's striking a big chord with Gina Davis's character because they seem to have been trying and unsuccessfully, and well, here they are. And she pops
I
up a
never
couple
picked
of
up on that.
times. Yeah, it's just it's kind of uncomfortable. But
Hmm.
they shake her off twice, and well, hey, guess what? We need to run into town because I need new paintbrushes or whatever. And it's revealed that Alec Baldwin's character, he's got a hardware store, and you get that great little part with the old man sitting outside the barbershop,
Just given
and
the story, and you walk in
yeah,
and out, and we've all got so. I think we all know someone like that who's just like, you just want to say hi and have a quick chat. Turns into half an hour. You're like, fuck. Just
yep. And Adam, he knows better. He skirts on by, runs into the store. It's like 2 seconds. He gets what he needs, comes back out. The guy's still going on. Um, yeah, that works. And then, of course, as they were going into town, you notice the dog crossing in front of them first, right?
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
You get the little hints of here's a little cute dog. It's adorable. He is just.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
blame them for what they did in a minute, but
No, but of course they swerve out of the way. I mean, hell, their bumper sticker says "I brake for animals," right? But they crash through the side of the bridge, and they're hanging on, but they look back, and that little motherfucker, he's
that little fucker just jump off. Just fun jump, and they'll have a nice little swim.
oh
Just
yeah, that dog is vindictive as fuck. Absolutely, he's like, you try to run me over, god damn it, you are dead motherfuckers.
it's
And
just one of those things. And obviously, I know you're more, you're a positive person. I'm more negative. So I'm not trying to shit on the movie, but the crash itself doesn't make sense to me because you clearly see the dog before the bridge. You see them swerve, and then they crash in the middle of the bridge. I don't quite get how that works. It
yeah,
bugged me every time. Like,
yeah, there might be a little continuity issue there. I don't know. To me, it was more the drop. It doesn't really seem that far. Maybe the water's just that shallow that the
I'd say it
impact
could just
was.
be
Yeah,
just a small little.
yeah, that could
It's
be it.
not a good way to go. That's just
No,
squishing.
no, it's not great. But obviously they drowned because we see other spirits later on in the film that well, they're a little worse for wear, right?
There's definitely much worse ways to go with this. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
yeah. Well, yeah, they somehow make it back home, and well, they're kind of squishy. It's time to light some fire, try to warm up. I'm trying to remember how Adam steps outside, but he's no longer on this plane of existence. It's
Yeah, he's gone to Arrakis. He's just hiding over
yeah,
there.
it's either Arrakis or Sandworm or Saturn or something like that, but you get the same damn sandworms essentially.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
It's one of those few. It was one of the obviously the beginning's typical stuff. It's when you watch it. It's one of those moments that makes me realize this is a horror film because I'm not sure if it's the stop motion animation or just the weirdness of it. It's something uncomfortable about though. That's these scenes in particular with the sandworm and the planet. It's like I don't know why. It just makes it worse. Like there is nothing even remotely recognizable here. It's just sand's about it. It's just
Oh yeah.
weird blue shit, the sandworm, this planet in the sky. It's just
Yeah, and like the what you see as far as the planet or moons or whatever and all that, it looks like special effects out of the 60s, which I'm sure was what Burton was going for there. But yeah, I'm not sure I'm overly in love with the whole aesthetic of Saturn there, but if that is where it is, I mean, who knows? It's a throwaway line from Beetlejuice later, but
yeah,
I do enjoy the sandworms at the very least, and like the head within the head thing. It's
yeah. The full little alien ripoff of
yeah,
just
absolutely. I am very much down with that. And they find the handbook for the recently diseased, no, deceased,
yeah,
after Adam returns, and then we get our first little bit of Beetlejuice. He's just
doing
below
that little
ground,
advert. It's yeah.
flipping through the
There's a bit.
paper.
Oh, yes, when he's looking. Yeah, he said need to find a job, isn't it? Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm jumping ahead there. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. It's he's looking at the want ads, the obituaries, and we see the Maitlands. Well, please welcome the Maitlands. Um,
Just suckers.
yeah, yeah, and well, time passes in weird, odd ways. Either just them being in the afterlife or trips to Saturn, but enter the Dietzes, the assholes that buy their home.
They're just the lovely people that what's she called again? Catherine O'Hara. I'm not sure if
Yes,
you watched Schitt's Creek.
I am well aware of it and
Yeah.
definitely
It
love
is
her work and everything else that she's
yeah.
done. She's
It was just like because I've recently watched all of that and then watching this, I'm like, she is the exact same fucking character. It's just that snobby rich thinks she's better than everyone. The
oh yeah.
whole that's my sculpture. It's not that I bought it. I made it. It's my and it's fucking dreadful.
Hmm. Yeah, they're very much targeting yuppies in the 80s with these characters and also Otho. Um, Otho is every wannabe designer that kitchen clients will bring with them to appointments when they need their expert in their lives to
Oh
tag along with them.
no.
Oh yeah,
Have you had to
yeah.
deal with an Otho?
I've dealt with a few Othos in my time. Um, and well, boy, God bless them, but the Maitlands, they try to scare these people off. They try.
Just the pulling the face off. It's nothing again. It's the totally 60s cheap horror,
Mm-hmm.
is mold and plasticine, what's that I'm looking for? Claymation, all that sort of stuff. It's like it just makes it because it's so low tech. It just seems so much creepier.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know why. It's that thing with how spiders move. It creeps people out. It's that I get that same effect from this sort of old
Okay.
60s style animation sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's I mean, it looks great. And I think if you weren't someone moving up in the 80s like this family is, then sure, you probably would have seen it and you would have been terrified. But no, you're a fucking yuppie. So they see nothing.
Push her
Uh
out the way and
oh yeah. Yeah. So then how do they now I guess they don't go back to Saturn quite yet. But it's dinner time for the Dietzes, and they're bemoaning the fact that
they're having
they're
Cantonese.
eating Cantonese and they can't get
So,
Szechuan. I'll tell you what, I would kill for just Chinese food in general, and it's probably what I'm going to do after this podcast because I need some fried rice
just
in me and maybe some hot and sour soup. Doesn't that sound
so
great?
jealous right now. I'm
Yeah,
so
it's
jealous right now. It's an American thing. Do you actually get it in those little cardboard tubs?
sometimes,
Because we don't
sometimes.
have them here. I just thought that was a TV and movie thing. Like I didn't know that was a thing.
Depends on the place, depends on what you're getting. Oftentimes, if rice is a side, it'll come in one of those things, and it turns into a brick of rice before you know it. It's
Oh, that's
strange. It's unfortunate, but yeah. My regular place around the corner here, it's usually just like a plastic clamshell style container.
right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's the sort of stuff we get. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, not exactly like the movies, but decent enough. And again, I could just murder some fried rice right now. So that is in my near future. Um, So they have their little familial back and forth. Lydia is just,
Just a sour ball of depression. Just,
yeah, she grows on you eventually, but right
of course it does,
now,
yeah.
yeah, I think the father seems to be the only one who's even remotely likable at the moment, and he's just trying to, not,
He wants this country house for his country. The whole thing with the office when they
yes,
went down, like just decorate everything, but leave this room. Like he just wants that American family TV show
yeah.
normalness.
And he just
When
doesn't
you've
want to
got the
exacerbate his ulcer more than anything, because
yeah,
this dude has been stressed out beyond belief with whatever he's done for a living. I think it's something to do with real estate, but eh. Then it's the actual moving day, the next day when the trucks come with everything, and the sculpture crashing through the window and then trapping Delia against the house. Uh, and
let's just leave her there. That would solve a lot of problems in this movie. We'll just
oh
leave her stuck in the wall.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I yeah, just a lot of little awkwardness here, and obviously the Maitlands are not having it because their home is being just totally changed. It's everything they've,
Modernized to horribleness.
yes, in the worst possible ways. And let's see, you get this wonderful shot, and I think I've only noticed this for the first time in this rewatch, where these workers are trying to steam off the wallpaper in the second floor, and it's creating this wonderful bank of fog for Lydia to walk through as she
When
tries
she
to.
goes up the stairs, yeah.
Yes, it's kind of perfect. I love the super mundane of the real world being turned into the
This
supernatural.
dramatic
Yes.
entrance with Lydia of just yeah.
Hmm. Yes, it's a lot of fun. And then we get the Beetlejuice car ad, the Bioexorcist, which apparently was modeled after these very, very famous ads from a car salesman in California at the time. So it's very
That
much,
tracks. I could buy that. That's
yeah. It's I haven't looked any of these up, but I'm sure they're very, very similar to what we ultimately saw. Free demon possession with every exorcism. Don't forget.
it's the yeah, because it's the first proper thing of Michael Keaton. It's like he's just so perfect for this role. It's just over the top wackiness, and like I said, if it is those old car adverts, it's that pure hard sell that we all fucking hate, but for some reason you'll love it in this, and I
Hmm.
don't know why.
It's perfect, absolutely perfect. Um, and then we're back to. I'm not sure how the cuts work here, but we go back to Lydia's father, and he's just still, still trying to de-stress. He's got his bird watching book and his binoculars, and he's looking out there, and of course he
Bird
finds this.
going to town on that whatever the fuck that
Mhm.
was, some dead animal.
Yeah, it's not great. I'm not sure still what stress he's trying to, alleviate himself from, but he's trying, man. He's trying to make some tea.
I
He's
mean,
trying to.
if you were married to Delia and there's a possible chance that she's banging off though, wouldn't you be like, just I'm fed up of life?
Yeah, I really don't think she's banging Otho.
Well,
I
no, I just that sort of you if your wife is hanging out with another man that much, you may get that impression, even though I'm pretty sure
I think it helps alleviate him from the stress that she's got this dude in her life.
he can deal with her, so he hasn't got to.
Yeah. I
That's
think he's
fair.
kind of good
That's
with
a fair
that.
point.
But yeah, he has this little bird watching moment, and well, let's see, where do we go from there? Um, then we are introduced to the waiting room. They realize they need help, so it's time to
They have
draw
to
the
draw the
door,
door.
which
You have to
is
get the handle.
yes, yeah, cool little effect, and the wonderful green lighting, and just all the colors in this film are just fantastic. The lighting is
Just so
just
trippy.
yeah,
It's
it's
just yeah.
outstanding. So they get to this waiting room, and this is like the Moss Isley Cantina of waiting
It's
rooms.
just the fucking best. Is this where the guy burnt himself by smoking or is that later?
Yeah, he does offer a cigarette. Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm trying to cut down myself, and
yeah,
just and obviously the that dancer that's half a woman, the legs there, and which
yeah.
I
And
didn't realize. or when I was looking into it earlier, the legs are at the time Tim Burton's girlfriend.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, she's probably a magician's assistant that was sawed in half or something like that.
Ah, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Um, and then we're introduced to their caseworker, Juno. Yeah, with her wonderful,
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm getting at, from
Yeah. The
cancer.
whole shot. That.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. I love the
Oh,
smoke pouring out.
I was gonna say I don't think that's what that was.
No,
Because it's something I noticed in this. It's mentioned later by Arthur when he reads the book that the receptionist says about her accident and
right.
shows there,
Yep, I was
and
just
then
thinking about that, but
during the dinner scene, Arthur says that they say if you commit suicide, you become a public servant. And when you think about it, it's that because the Juno must have cut her neck. You've got the guy who's flattened, so he must have jumped in front of a bus, and you get the guy who's hanging and he drops the paperwork is hanging. So it seems that everybody who is working there did kill themselves.
okay, okay, I could see it. Um, just with the heavy smoking, I just went right to cancer,
Oh yeah, so did I. Yeah, that's just.
but no, it
I
totally makes sense. Yeah. Um, yeah, I
yeah,
can't think of the
she's just great.
actress's name and what else I've seen her in, but yeah, every time she shows up, she's wonderful. So they get their
Oh, I can't find it.
yeah, their advice from Juno, that they got to handle this, and you only have so many vouchers for help from us, so you got to
Yeah,
make this
it's
work.
three for 125 years,
Right, right.
and also before we saw before Juno, they have to walk through that weird Willy Wonka corridor
Oh
with just the
yes,
weird floors in the room of exercise, the dead for the dead.
yes,
Is
the
just
lost souls. Yes.
yeah, the Lost Souls room. Yeah, the whole
Um.
thing is just trippy as fuck.
hmm Yeah, there's some fun world building with this stuff. I love it. Um. And then I think we're introduced to Beetlejuice again, or no? There's oh yes, yes, because there's the fly that's
Yeah, that goes
zooming
about his
around the
brain when
table,
he.
yeah. And we get that fun little reference from the fly, the old Vincent Price one of the help me, and he has a little snack. Um, so they decide, okay, it's time to throw on some sheets and go for the basics, right?
Yeah,
And of course, there's sheets with wonderful print patterns on them, so it's
these
just.
$300 sheets. Where the
Mhm.
fuck are you getting sheets for $300?
I mean,
That's
it's the '80s, and I'm sure the thread count is fantastic. Um, but in any event, they go on their little haunting excursion, and they find the dad, and he's like, "Lydia, if your mom finds out what you did to those sheets, you know."
gonna be
And so
so. And she
obviously,
100% would be. Yeah,
yep. And then they find Delia, and she's had a few Xanax or something like that. Or no, it's Valium. That's right. She's
yeah, because
sleeping with Prince Valium.
Prince Valiant.
Yeah, yeah. And they moan a little bit louder, and she snaps awake just enough to turn off the TV, and that's it.
And Lydia just thinks that mum and dad are just getting at it, and it's
Yes, yes.
and she's like,
In
I'm
my
I'm a
notes it says
child, and
ghostly sex noises.
yeah, yeah,
And then the comment from it's either Barbara to Adam or vice versa of moan louder. Um but they do run into Lydia, and
isn't it also meant to be? It's your death scream or something. He says. I can't think what it was, but yeah, so they find Lydia, and because you mentioned earlier with the when they think they're having sex, it's like, you kind of forget Renata Rada's 15 in this movie.
oh, Jesus, yeah.
That's just another of like, fuck it out with this eye moment, or the
She was
fuck with this
probably like
out.
25 when she filmed it, because that's what you did in the 80s and the 90s. You hired people that were about 10 years older than the age you wanted them to
Yeah,
portray, because you had no faith in child actors actually pulling anything off.
you
But
do a Spider-Man one, you just get actors who are way too old.
impossibly old, yes. But let's see, where do we go from there? She takes a bunch of photos with her Polaroid camera, and then realizes it's not her
No
parents.
feet.
There are no feet. Um, so they don't really interact quite yet. She's just having breakfast with the parents and be like, "Okay, look what I found." They're like, "Whatever, that's cute." Um, they're just not into it. But Then we move
Except
on.
don't they say that aren't you ghoulish under there and how much TV are you watching of just
Oh, yeah. Okay, so they do interact at this point.
yeah, they have
Yes.
a little
Okay.
chat there, don't they? Because
Yeah.
yeah, 'cause she can see them, and she just go into full depression that she's just sad and can see ghosts and yeah,
Yeah. Okay, that all makes sense. And then this is again very much a late 80s film because we've got dinner parties and talking about equity. Um, you know?
that's all the rage. That and it, it's is that what
Yeah.
being an adult's like? Because I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm bad at the adulting too. Don't worry. Um, but yeah. So they go on about their mundane shit that they're so enthralled with, and Lydia pipes up that she's seen a ghost, and well, they demand some proof and so on. Well, meanwhile, Adam and Barbara, they're hey, we got to do something. So let's try this beetle guy. Let's see what's going on. And well, they get shrunk down to model size, and they find some shovels by his headstone, and they start digging. And
Digging through that cork and the whole
yeah,
model
yeah,
thing is
yeah,
so cool.
yeah, digging through the
Just
particle board and the other shit and all the little layers and the fake grass. I love how it's just all embiggened for them because here they are at model size.
yeah.
Um, it's great. And wow, Beetlejuice wakes up and he is incredibly horny.
He is. It's been hundreds of years. He just needs to fuck. It's
Yes.
just he's been locked in that box for too long.
Yes. In my notes, the juice is loose. But they're
Well
a little
done.
yeah,
Well done.
they're a little turned off by him, especially, just the totally inappropriate advances towards Barbara. Um we
Yeah, the
would
lifting the skirt with the stick. It's
yeah.
so over the line.
Yeah,
At least for me, it works as comedy, but it's
it does,
just
but
yeah.
this would never be filmed today.
No,
They
no.
would
If
not go in
anyone
that
does
direction.
this, you're a horrible human being, and
Yes,
fuck you. But
yes.
it's like it works just about enough for it to be funny.
So yeah, they're like, okay, now home. Let's go back. This enough of this guy. And Beetlejuice is
But
well,
I thought we have to go back to the best line Michael Keaton
oh
has in this movie is when they ask him about his qualifications, and he just drops into normal. Goes, well, I attended Juilliard, have a business degree from Harvard Law School, survived the Black Plague, did well there, and I've watched The Exorcist 131 times, and it gets funnier every single time.
yes.
His delivery is fucking spot on.
Yep. Yep. Love it. But okay, they're like, enough of this shit. We just got to try to handle this on our own again. And we're back to the dinner party and we get some Harry Belafonte. And it's great. It's iconic. It's
It's just the best. And I was reading into it. Originally Tim Burton didn't want the scene. He said it wasn't funny. He hated it, but it's just possibly the best scene in this entire movie. It's just the obviously when it starts the Dale and everyone starts to and then the dancing and the black tarantula bit and the waving their ass in the air. It's just and everyone there is just having such a good time.
mm-hmm.
All the actors on set are just like, this is such a... When Orphan picks up the thing and starts clapping the plate lid, it's like, crap, it's...
Yeah.
I even rewatching this, I watched it twice just to go back. I was like, that, just go back in 30 seconds, watch that scene again, because it's just...
Yep. And then you get the one little horrifying bit of the shrimp cocktails turning into monstrous palms and, flipping
Yeah,
them over.
pulling them all down.
And you're thinking to yourself, somebody's going to crack their head on one of these cement looking walls and it's going to be game over, man. But no, everybody's good. They had a great time. They want to meet the Maitlands.
They just want more of that, yeah.
And, you get the Maitlands watching out the window. Any minute now.
Yeah, where the scream, yeah, because most people be like, fuck that, I'm out, just that's enough. But nope, they're just
Yeah.
thinking with their wallets and we can make a killing out of this.
That's absolutely it. Let's make money off the ghosts. And when it turns into they don't want to come downstairs. They think you're making fun of them. The other couple goes to take off, and you get one of the other perfect lines from this movie. Delia, you are a flake. You have always been a flake. If you insist on frightening people, Do so with your sculpture.
Sculptures. Yeah. It's just a character who's introduced purely for this one scene. It just gives such a thing of something all of us want to say to her of just, you are just a fucking piece of shit and your art sucks. Just fuck you. Because he mentioned before today that if anyone's making money, I've been losing money on Delia for years. If we're going to finally make some, I'm being fucking involved.
Yeah. And then let's see here. I think it's okay. Yeah, they march upstairs to confront them because, how dare they make them look like fools? And I think this is the moment where Otho grabs the book, right?
Yeah, because they kick the door down. They're hanging out the window so that
Right.
although sees the book,
And I love that the little shot of their fingers over
just the hands on
over
the thing.
the
Yeah,
sill. Yeah. And yeah, they're like, okay, we fucked up. We did not do this well enough. We got to grab Beetlejuice and give him a
yeah.
shot. And it's showtime. And or no, wait, no, that's not till much later. But yeah, they do summon Beetlejuice and turn him loose on him. And again, the lighting in this movie is so much fun because you get Beetlejuice as the handrail on the stairs turning into the snake and all this stuff,
Yeah,
and
you get the
it's just
shadow first, and it's
yeah,
it's just so much dark and green in this movie, and it somehow just works. It
yep,
just adds to that element of fucking freaky.
yep. We've come for your daughter, Chuck, and yeah. Yeah. And oh God, Charles, his back is not going to be in good shape after being dropped down the stairwell that way.
It's
Um,
gotta that's gotta fucking hurt. That's he's
yeah.
now definitely bankrupt because you guys ain't got healthcare, so he's fucked.
Well, they would be
It's
able
the
to
real
afford it,
horror.
but the rest of us not so much. So yeah, the Maitlands are like, okay, this is going too far, and they
Yeah, because
send him
Lydia
on back.
screams and runs away,
Yep,
and
yep.
it just this head turn of just oh no, and he's just sucked back. It's
Mm-hmm.
because although he's all these weird creatures, you could still see his face, and it's just so good. It's just such good prop design.
Yep. Love it. We then get a little distraction for Beetlejuice of Dante's Inferno room. Um,
I just love how Barbara thinks that he made it. He's like, you think I made that? Like,
right,
just
right, right,
the
right.
pure look of dishonest of like, you fucking pervert.
Yep, yep. He's feeling a little anxious, if you know what I mean. Um, yeah. So he hops his horny ass over to the whorehouse, and they get summoned back to Juneau. Yep, Adam and Babs, they screwed up.
They're
And
in deep doo doo.
yep, they're going to get a little bit of a ton lashing from Juno on this. And here's where we get the wonderful football players. But maybe
Coach, I'm not your coach. He survived.
yeah, where's the men's room? Yeah, they're all dumb as a box of rocks, and yeah, in not good shape either. And I think it may have been before this that ultimately we get Delia writing a suicide note. Uh,
I am alone. No, I am utterly alone.
uh-huh. And
Wow,
it's
that's
played for
good.
laughs and it is funny, but just as a reminder to the, dozen of you who will watch this, but suicide's not cool. You don't
No,
you don't get to do that shit. Not to yourself and certainly not to the people in your life. And
just reach out to anyone, even us. If you know me, just reach out and
yeah,
talk. There's someone who cares and will
yes,
do anything to help.
absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why they changed the ending of this film because they were going to have Lydia dying and hanging out with them as a ghost, but they didn't want to.
Fucking hell! I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
know that.
Yeah, they didn't want to encourage the idea that death or suicide was cool in young
Yeah,
people. So,
there's actually this is the afterlife, and you can just fuck with people because there would definitely be some people who are thinking, oh, you can get your family to sing and dance at a dinner party. Give
yeah,
it a go. Like, no, it's not. Yeah.
yeah, don't need that. So, yeah, okay. So I think it is after this that we get to the football team in Juno's office. And, um, I,
And you get the cool effect, which I didn't realize till. So I watched it once to write notes, read all the IMDb credit, the goofs and all the fun trivia, and watched it again. And behind the Maitlands, when they're talking, you can see a theater, like an audience of people sat there watching the movie,
oh,
which is
nice.
meant to be some fourth dimension of thing. And obviously, the living are watching this and the dead are watching this. It's like that's just a cool fun fact that you'd never really notice, but
Nice. Nice, nice,
sure.
nice. Um, I think here we get I think Beetlejuice first meeting Lydia. Yeah?
Yeah, because he's laying on like a sunbed outside the hall or on top of the whorehouse,
Right.
and she's looking for the Maitlands.
Right. And I can't remember what his whole spiel is, but there's this one little line of he just one off line of shit like that or whatever that just it got me really hard when I was
Oh,
watching this.
is it the bit where he can't say his name?
Yeah,
That
something
bit,
like
or when he
that.
says, "If I can't tell you my name because you'll tell your friends, they'll be calling about me. I'll have to
Yeah.
do mall appearances, shit like that."
Yeah, yeah.
It's
And it got me really hard with that. But and he's trying to get her to, and you've got they're gonna play charades, right? And
yeah,
you get the beetle in the corner, and then the very, very heavily branded orange juice. It's
definitely not product placements.
no, not whatsoever. And boy, it takes her a minute to get that one, but she gets
Who
it.
starts with breakfast when you see orange juice?
Yes,
Whose first thought is
breakfast
that?
drink. Um,
Or a glass? No.
yep, but ultimately she does get it. She says it a couple of times and then thinks better of it. And
You were the snake, so fuck you.
yep, absolutely. And then Adam and Babs do save the day, but they come rolling in as they're,
Oh, with
horribly
the fucking
distorted. Yeah,
eyes on the thing, the teeth in the mouth. It's so good.
yeah,
It just looks so
and
creepy.
they scare the shit out of her, and they make her feel like they don't want anything to do with her again, and she takes it pretty badly. Um, and then we move on to the next dinner party where, okay, Otho's bringing in Robert Goulet and a few other ghouls, and they're gonna, do their best to summon Adam and Barbara.
To do a séance, and
Yeah, yeah, and
why did she keep the wedding clothes? Because they make a joke of everything went to goodwill, but keep
yeah,
the wedding clothes. That's creepy. I mean, I get they set it up earlier in the film when she in the moves her out the way and puts
yeah.
the clothes apart.
Ozzy
That's
and
a weird thing
Harriet.
to keep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it's strange, but apparently Otho
it's a
knows what
strange
the hell
people.
he's doing, or at least can read stereo instructions because he manages to bring them forth, right? And well, they start shriveling away so quickly. Um, in my notes, I have watching Adam and Babs shrivel away hurts my soul. It's like watching a time lapse of Mark from every Zoom call. Um,
Oh yes, you beautiful human being.
Sorry, Mark. You
Oh,
would have
that's
done the same.
cheated. I am disappointed I didn't think of that, but I'm so proud right now.
But Lydia takes matters into her own hands, and ooh, it's a real Faustian bargain because Beetlejuice, he wants a green card.
Yeah,
He,
he wants entrance over to the promised land. That's
yep, yep. So he wants out, and she's his meal ticket. So it's showtime, and yep, attention Kmart shoppers. Um,
and you get the iconic suit. That even though it's not in it much because he changes to the red suit for the wedding, but just the black. I tried to order one for
oh,
this, could not get it in time, so I've sort of come dressed as Alec Baldwin's character because he has the red
yeah,
shirt
yeah,
and
yeah.
the red and white check.
Hey, that's a good job
Oh
as it
man,
is. But yeah, yeah, the iconic striped suit, and yeah,
yeah, when he
for him,
comes out as the circus clown into
hmm
the
and for a movie called Beetlejuice, he's in it for a remarkably little time, but
yeah.
the little bit that
I
he
think he
is,
has I think he has 17-minute screen,
oh wow,
17 minutes on screen. And I know it's the first that we first really see him that first, when they dig him out of the ground. 47 minutes into this movie.
hmm
And it's only an hour and a half film. This is a short movie. It's like you barely see the entire character, but he's the most he's instantly recognizable. It's so quotable. You just know he's not even the lead character, but he's the lead character. Come on, he's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
yeah.
He's very much anti-hero, right? Um, So yes, step right up, and he's got his inflatable mallets for the test of strength there, and Robert Goulet and wife get rocketed through the ceiling, and they're like totally dead, aren't they?
Oh
He
yeah, that's
absolutely killed them. Um,
yeah. You ain't coming back from that.
nope.
Like they said earlier with a hard, country wood and stuff. I'm sure it's got to be the same in the ceilings. So
Yeah, yeah, they're splattered all over the rafters, or if they did make it through the ceiling, they had a hard landing somewhere. Um, so yeah, they're donezo.
that's gonna need some redecorating.
Yeah, a little bit. And then, where are you going, round boy? And the spotlight on Otho and his dark suit is ripped away to something that he finds very, very distasteful. This powder
The light
blue suit.
blue,
Yeah,
just
yeah, with he is not pleased. He's more terrified by what he's wearing
yeah.
than everything that's going on in the
The,
scene.
the death of two people, all the weird ghost shit, and the fact that it's a suit that I think's kind of cool. It's, but obviously horror film or horror light film, you got to get that girly scream. Comes
Oh,
from Otho, but it's that high pitched
yep.
squeal.
Yep. And then the sculptures come to life and hold Charles and Delia still as witnesses for the unfortunate marriage between Beetlejuice and Lydia. Um,
When he has doubts, just do I want to do this? Am I sure she's the right one? And just
told
although
myself I'd never do
seriously, I
this
wouldn't use.
before. Yeah. Yeah. It's just, it kind of goes on and on, but no, I don't hate the length of the scene.
Yeah,
But yes, when he covers Lydia's mouth for his little ventriloquism bit, and yes, I love that man of mine.
mine.
Um,
Of saying about yeah, it's just the whole movie when she's depressing. Like even the fact that she's saying something positive, it's just like nope, that just feels makes it extra wrong.
yep, absolutely. It's the whole child bride thing is just about as terrifying as anything else happening in this film. And somehow Adam and Barbara got back to their old selves throughout all of this. I don't
Pretty quickly, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Beetlejuice had actually rescued them as part of, I guess that was kind of part of the deal.
Yeah, I got the impression it was sort of he comes in to sort it out, and it's he helps the dead, they're dead. So
I
I guess
guess.
that kind of works. But then
Yeah.
this was that thing of they all tried to stop him. They say it so slowly. Why do they pause after every Beetlejuice? She goes Beetlejuice because then zip, like say it
The
really quickly.
metal mending plate on her mouth. And
Yeah,
so he just, poofs her off to Saturn. And, luckily in the transition, the plate disappears. And she's got, massive sandworms everywhere. And she's like, oh, fuck. And Adam's been miniaturized to the model. And
yeah. And he's by the broken car,
yeah,
and
he gets the truck and he fires it up and takes off the table. And wow, that truck got some decent suspension to make a fall like that and keep moving. But
things are just built better in the olden days. They
I,
don't make them like they used to.
I suppose. Now, I was always under the impression all the years that I've seen this film, and it's not like it's an obscure film or anything, but that she screams Beetlejuice a final time as she comes crashing through the ceiling with the sandworm. But I don't think she does. I think the worm just fucking eats him.
That's quicker. The worms there with a little mouth, just eat it quicker. It's just
Yeah.
you have a sore throat being on Saturn. It's dry. You can have
Yeah.
you're gonna need a drink. You don't want to be shouting names.
Yeah. I guess I'm curious how he ends up trapped in the waiting room again then. Is it that I don't know.
Did he? Did the wedding get officiated so he came back to life? Then he died again.
Maybe?
Possibly. Did he die and die again? Did the worm eating him kill him or something?
I don't know
Because
because
I guess the whole point of if they go, they're obviously not meant to be on Saturn. So the worms are obviously there as a deterrent or the thing. So I guess if you get eaten by one, maybe you die again.
I don't know.
That's
It's one of those little not exactly a plot hole, but
if you think about it for too long, it's like this
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yep, absolutely. But yeah, we cut to, maybe a couple of months later, and Lydia's getting out of school and she's saying goodbye to people that she's obviously friendly with. So, growth on her part, right?
Yeah, she's
Um,
doing well.
yeah, absolutely. So she rides home and, says hey to everybody. And Adam and Babs, they check in with her about, how was school? And, well,
Is that what you get on the science? The kids you get on the science test. I want you to cut up a frog. It's against my religion. So I got to see.
yeah.
That's a sweet deal. That's a sweet deal.
Oh,
I would take that.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And then the math test, she, joshes them a little bit. And it's like, nope, I got an A, because they were helping her study all week for it. And how cute is that? The ghosts in the
It's just the
house.
happy family. It's
Yeah, they
who
get
needs
what they
Casper.
want. And, Charles gets his, relaxation with the exception of having ugly sculpture shoved in his face. And, even Delia, she's sculpting again. She's only happy when she's sculpting. Um,
No one else is because they're the things of nightmares. But
yes, absolutely. But deal's a deal. So they break out some Harry Belafonte and they possess Delia or Lydia rather to help her dance and fly through the air. And that's it.
it's so cheesy, but so fun.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. Credits just with
We,
more
we
good
do
Danny
get
Elfman.
the Beetlejuice in the waiting room.
Yep,
He
back to yep.
steals
That's true.
the guys. Oh, it looks like I'm next.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a photo shoot with Vanity Fair. They've been after me for years, and
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty. Hey, I think it's a good look for me.
Yep, yep. Yeah, he tried filling up the magician's assistant
Yeah,
and
he
got slapped
strokes
away.
the
And yeah,
legs.
yeah, yeah, it's fun. It's is the effect all that great of the shrunken head? It's some really bad green screening, but that's
They've just pulled the camera away from Michael Keaton.
yeah,
Just hope that
yeah.
worked.
Yeah, maybe you could have done some kind of a dolly zoom type thing. I don't know, but
Yeah,
ultimately, it works well enough. You get the little high pitched voice, and then for sure the end credits,
yeah, definitely the
and
credits ending.
yeah, and that's fucking Beetlejuice. Um,
It's fucking Beetlejuice. That she said it.
yeah, yeah. So there's been talks of them doing a sequel, and obviously there was an animated series years and years ago. Um, Oh God, it sounds like most of the cast is coming back to do the sequel. The
Oh God.
hell?
I mean, that's good for Gina Davis because she's done not.
No, she's been a little quiet lately, and so's to be fair, Winona Ryder. But I gotta look this up and see what we can find here as far as any information. I don't know. It's
It,
you don't seem very good with a sequel either, do
I,
you?
it's it's very few and far between where they do a sequel to after a long time. I think me and you both love Blade Runner 2049. Like I think it's far superior than the first one. That's one of the few cases I can actually think of that's spot on. That's perfect. I
Yeah,
know they've
we're
done it a lot with like the Anchorman 2 and stuff. That was crap. And
oh yeah.
Zoolander. I know these are all comedies, but there's very few cases where a long-waited hiatus or a long-waited delay for a sequel ever really works. Even I adore Ghostbusters Afterlife, but that's just an hour and a half of fan service.
Oh,
It's fine with
absolutely.
me.
It was
It's like
good fan service, but
hmm,
yeah, these sequels that take place 30, 40 years after the fact, like Blade Runner 2049 and the upcoming Top Gun film. Sometimes they work, sometimes it's
yeah.
yeah. Okay, so I found a little bit of trivia. Seth Graham Smith, he's the guy that wrote Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Um, he's been working on the script since 2012. That's not a good
Ooh,
sign at
that's
all.
a problem.
Yeah, and in March of 2014, Michael Keaton said that this was the only sequel he's interested in doing. Okay, well, that was 8 years ago. Um, hmm.
Is Michael Keaton short of money?
He
I know
must
he's coming back
be.
for Batman.
Yeah. Oh, he got that sweet, sweet Morbius money, right? Um,
Oh God, don't. Oh, don't. I forgot he's in that. Fuck's sake.
yeah, yeah.
God damn it. But they're not just thinking story-wise, logically. Do ghosts age? Because obviously they're going to need a lot of de-aging to make them look how they worked.
Which they're
Because
getting
otherwise,
much, much better at these days.
yeah,
It's becoming less and less distracting for sure. Um, but also with the makeup and everything, I think Keaton could pull that off just fine. And if
yeah,
Lydia were to, obviously she's going to be an adult in this. Winona Ryder is what, around 50 now, something like that.
sounds right. Yeah, mid to late 40s, 50s. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm sure she's going to be the mom of some type of a similar situation. They'll probably just Force Awakens it, It'll be
it'll be
largely
the
a,
same movie. Yeah.
yeah,
Do you think Lydia would die and then she'll hang out with the Maitlands and they all?
perhaps.
Yeah,
That's the one that'll be difficult to de-age, Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin. If I can't
yeah.
recall if they're in it, but I know for sure Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder.
I'd be surprised if Alec Baldwin does anything for a while.
Yeah, yeah,
Obviously, unfortunately, the yeah.
yeah. That's
But
oof, that was awful. Um, but yeah,
yeah,
I don't need a Beetlejuice 2. And it's like every sequel that they do that's years and years after the fact. I'm sure the trailer will have the score, but played mournfully on a piano and, very, very
it'll be that
down tempo and
slowed
mournful.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they'll, throw in all the little bits of fan service and Easter eggs to, pique your interest. And then we'll see trailers of it for 2 years because it'll get postponed by the continuing pandemic, just like Top Gun
yeah.
Maverick. Um, yeah,
That one is a shame. That's just. I mean, it's out for Morbius. I haven't got to see that one. So the further that gets away, better for me. That's the less that's in my life, the better.
yeah, I'm totally fine with not seeing Morbius until it's something I'm already paying for with a streaming service.
Yeah,
And even then, maybe get a few drinks in me before I do.
yeah. I think both of us would just watch that for the interview.
Yeah.
That's the amount of shit movies they've made me watch. I don't mind if they're
Oh,
free or
yeah.
somewhere like they're already paying for it.
I
But
I think the only ones I ever skipped over very, very purposefully were the Transformers films for in review. Um, eh, I couldn't
I,
do it. I
the fifth one is so good because it's so bad. It's Batman and Robin levels of this is the
yeah,
dumbest
that's the
shit in the world.
thing. I just as fun as Batman and Robin can be, I can't bring myself to watch that shit. It's
Get
uh,
really, really, really drunk.
I suppose that's a way to tackle it. Uh,
Yeah.
Andy, final thoughts on Beetlejuice.
It's a good. There was something I wanted to touch on because you mentioned it when we first started talking about this, which something I didn't realize that obviously being an old film, you get a lot of how things haven't aged well with the overly horny Beetlejuice,
Hmm.
the suicide stuff, and you said about effectively Tim Burton being a bit racist. Which
Yeah, that's the word around the campfire that
mm,
he casts mostly white actors in his films because he has an easier time lighting them and with makeup making them look scary to him. Um,
it's the dumbest shit. We all agree that's the dumbest shit in the
yeah,
world. If he believes that, like I know he's a lunatic and a nut job as it is, but hit him on the head. It might fix that bit. Just
yeah. I mean, if that's more internet rumor than anything, then apologies. But you do notice there are not many people of color in his films.
no,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
It's once you point it out, you're like, shit, yeah, that's you may not notice. I mean, I was thinking about it quite a thing because I assumed you might want to touch on it, and it was quite a serious thing that me being from like a small touristy town, I don't see that many non-white people as it is. So it's something you don't pick up on until it's pointed out. And especially with this, you don't feel like the Dieters would know non-white, people of different ethnicities because, it's the 80s, they're the rich dickheads and stuff. It's that.
Yeah, I mean,
Story-wise, it makes a bit of sense, but it's that thing of when you really real world think about it, it's like, no, that's just a bit shitty. It's one of those things. It's sadly a film that I really love, but if you struggle with sort of putting yourself back in that time or ignoring the poor aging stuff, it can be a bit of an issue, really,
yeah.
which is a downside because there's a lot of great films that are fucking annoyingly problematic nowadays, which is a downside. But it's like it varies from person to person, doesn't it? It's everyone's personal take of can you ignore that or do you sort of the whole artist and art
Yeah,
thing.
separating art from artist, that
Yeah,
conversation. It's I think there's some instances where it's possible to do so and others where it's next to impossible. I think
yeah,
absolutely once someone has passed on or they're no longer making money from something, then it's certainly a little bit more tolerable. But and then there's other instances where, maybe the situation was a little overdone and the person has had an opportunity to grow, but
yeah,
that's far more rare.
yeah.
And
That's not
that
often.
is
It's
not common. Um, the only one that I can think of recent times is just somebody like what's his face, Aziz Ansari, where he made some major apologies, but he has struggled to make his way back, and it's
yeah,
that
and when you
said.
think about that, that's one person, and no disrespect to Aziz, but he wasn't exactly the biggest. One of the more bigger names to. He sort of kind of had to try and get back because he didn't have a long enough career to keep money back. Like
Mm-hmm.
as a horrible person as like say Kevin Spacey is like a
Right.
he can never come back and he doesn't need to because unfortunately he's rich as fuck. So he's unfortunately going to be he's set for life as it is. But it's that
Hell,
you know
even Cosby made his way out of prison. Um, yeah, I know. Happy Sunday, Andy. Um,
happy Santa. Yeah, that's
yeah.
well this is a movie all about suicide, so you got to bring the tone down a bit.
Oh God, Andy. If you'd like, where can people find you?
I am Andy Mac 9995 game on Twitter. I didn't have the game originally. I lost the access to that account, so I now have that. I am Andy9995 on Twitch. I stream at a very terrible routine, but Sea of Thieves, and if I'm on there, you'll see me swearing, sinking, making fun of Mark, calling him old, which get that extra jab in. And there was one joke I didn't get to do at the beginning, which was obviously I did pick Beetlejuice. I just like to let the audience know that Joe would not let me pick my original film, which was The Last Jedi, because that film is nothing but pure horror. I have to get that thing in there.
I'll take it. I'll take it. That's
That
the
was
price of getting you on here as a guest. I'll take it.
yes.
Well, this has been Murders with Mertens, a horror film podcast. Thank you for letting us tickle your ear holes. I'll be back soon enough with another episode, but until next time, stay spoopy, everyone.